Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students and viewers. Welcome to discussion on dramatic monologue. Dramatic means something which is found in a drama or which has characteristics of a drama. On the other hand, monologue comes from the Greek words monos, which means alone, and logos, which means speech. So, dramatic monologue is a speech by a single speaker or character. The speaker in a dramatic monologue reveals specific intentions of his actions. It is a literary device where a speech or verbal presentation is given by a single character in order to express his or her collection of thoughts and ideas aloud. Very often, such a character speaks directly to the audience or to some other character. Monologues are found in dramatic medium like films and plays, and also in non-dramatic medium like poetry. Thus, monologues are found in dramas. Monologues are speeches given by a single speaker. Soliloquy is another type of monologue in which a single speaker speaks to nobody, rather to himself or herself. Thus, monologues and soliloquy are found in dramas. For example, in Julius Caesar, Mark Antony delivers a well-known monologue to the people of Rome. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. That evil that men do leaps after them. The good is oft interred with their bones, so let it be with Caesar. The best example of soliloquy is found in Shakespeare's Hamlet, the soliloquy in which Hamlet says to be or not to be. On the other hand, dramatic monologue is not a part of a drama, but it's a kind of poem or a genre of poetry which has some dramatic elements or qualities. These qualities make dramatic monologue a different poem or a style in writing poem from other genres of poetry. The best example of a dramatic monologue is My Last Dashes by Robert Browning. Monologues are found in dramas from the classical period, but dramatic monologue as a genre of poetry achieved its first era of distinction in the work of Victorian poet Robert Browning. In a dramatic monologue, single speaker speaks throughout the poem, where there are hints about the presence of some other character, but the other character or characters remain silent. An audience is implied. It is also called a persona poem because the poet speaks through an assumed voice. In the 20th century, the influence of Browning's monologues can be found in the work of Ezra Pound and T.S. Eliot. Eliot's The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock is another masterpiece using the techniques of dramatic monologue. Besides, Mirror and Lady Lazarus by Sylvia Plath and Daffy Duck in Hollywood by John Ashbery are some other poems. Let us talk about some features of a dramatic monologue. We have already found that an audience is implied in a dramatic monologue. There is no dialogue, that is, there is no conversation between two or more characters or speakers, and the poet takes on the voice of a character, a fictional identity, or a persona. There are three basic features of a dramatic monologue. A single speaker delivers his or her speech on one particular situation of his or her life. The audience may or may not be present. The readers are the intended listeners here and play the part of a creative audience. The speaker reveals his temperament and character only through his speech. So we can say it's a character study, and through the poem there is a self-portrayal of the character. But there are some other important features. It starts abruptly, suddenly, and in most cases we find the narrator as first person. The use of first person narrator is important in a dramatic monologue because it makes the poem, the story, more believable. It unfolds the psychological aspects and intentions of the character under study. It has some dramatic features, linguistic features like punctuations and other marks. There is change of scenes, but only in the form of thought, and which is obvious in the delineation of the story by the speaker. It has dramatic actions, but the dramatic actions are made to take place in the minds of the readers. Most of the time, the speaker is trying to convince someone of something and may or may not be telling the whole truth. Sometimes, what the speaker doesn't say is just as revealing and interesting as what he or she does say in the poem. Usually, the speech is assertive or argumentative, and the character's emotions can be delved by the reader. A theatrical monologue, that is a monologue found in a drama, is performed on a stage to an audience. A poetic monologue is directed to only one listener. And remember, it is not a drama, it is not a part of a drama. A dramatic monologue is a poem itself. Actions like drama are evident but not external, internal only. Like climax of a drama, climaxes in a dramatic monologue are presented through diction which exposes the inner clash of motives within the speaker. Let us talk about My Last Duchess as a dramatic monologue. In My Last Duchess, the speaker, the Duke of Ferrara, addresses an emissary, a representative, who has come to arrange his next marriage. And here, the Duke of Ferrara is the only speaker. The Duke shows the emissary a picture of his late Duchess and delineates the story of how she was and why she was killed in a very shockingly dramatic manner. It is dramatic also in the sense that another person is present, but that person remains silent and he is only listening to the speaker's words. It has got abrupt beginning, no background is given, and the story is told in form of a dialogue, and there are some dramatic turns or changes of scenes or climaxes. A tension between sympathy and judgment, a power play between amazement and a sense of morality are among the striking features that the Duke of Ferrara speaks about himself. The Duke of Ferrara reveals his psychological traits like ego, authoritativeness, arrogance, pride, jealousy, narcissism through his speech and while he is speaking about his late wife. So we see that the character of Duke is delineated here, is portrayed here in a very dramatic manner, and the poem is a precise one, a short one, but which has all the meanings delved in it. So we can say that My Last Duchess has got most of the important elements of a dramatic monologue, and we can say that it is an epitome of a dramatic monologue. Hope that you have understood different aspects of dramatic monologue and how My Last Duchess is a dramatic monologue in brief. Thank you very much for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.